Can you do a sound check, please?
Are you asking me there, Greg, or just anybody?
I was asking for Christina.
Our Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the opportunity to be here in this meeting to conduct the county's business. We ask that you give us guidance and help us all to make the right decision, that we're all able to conduct this business in a civil manner. Guide us and bless us. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you. Christina, if we could please do a roll call. Here. Here.
Present.
This is the first one I've heard.
Justin Clausen. Jeff Reagan. And I have four.
Okay, that puts us in a position. Last night, we received a resignation email from Kip Parker. He was a member of the Planning Commission. He resigned last night. So that puts our number with the previous resignation of Dave Linneo. So that puts our number at 7 that we have total on the Planning Commission. So our quorum should be 4. Do we have enough? We do?
Yes.
Okay, with 1 on Zoom and 3 of us here. So can we show that, please? Okay. And I believe you got the email from Kip. So we have documentation as to his resignation last night. Okay. So we'll continue with the quorum of 4. All right, let's go. First thing I think I need to do, I do have some paper.
If somebody's speaking, that I'm not getting anything.
Yeah, Dan, give me a second here. Hey, Danny? Danny Wilcox, can you hear us?
And workout classes. More free with over 300 zero.
Hey, Dan, can you hear me?
Tools.
Not very good.
I can hear you, Peter.
Okay, very good. I just turned my mic on the laptop on.
Yeah, well, now I hear you, Peter, but I don't hear Greg very much, and I cannot hear anything else. I didn't hear me now, Dan? I didn't hear the pledge.
Dan, can you hear me?
Hey, Dan,
I'm not
try.
hearing Danny. The red, yellow squares around Danny Wilcox, and I don't hear you. Sorry.
Dan, I can hear all of them well. Try turning off your video, see if that helps out any.
Turning on my video?
No, sorry, Dan Mihalik.
I cannot hear anything.
Dan, can you turn off your video and see whether or not you'll get a better reception on the sound?
Zoom.
Okay, I think it'd be okay, but it seems like you're using a voice-operated mic, a Vox, and unless somebody's speaking that is close enough to trip it, it goes dead quiet.
Okay, we can hear you really well. So I think we have a good connection. Danny, can you hear me? Okay.
I
Greg, I can hear you.
And I do not hear Danny.
Have you got your mic on, Dan?
I do, got everything.
Laptop.
Okay, all right.
Dan, you can hear me though, right?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Leave your video off, and it seems to be something to do with the bandwidth that you're dealing with at the moment.
Okay.
All right. I think we can hear everybody loud and clear. Let's do this.
Okay, think we can go forward with this, try again? All
Yeah,
right,
go ahead.
where I was talking about removing the SIA from the consent agenda, which I don't think that would be, I don't think we need to be reviewing that before we've actually had a chance to have the application. It looks like, yeah, that's all right. Just the SIA. Okay. Now to do that, if we remove that, what I need is I need a motion to amend the agenda.
I'll make the motion to amend the agenda and take off the SIA under the consent agenda.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Can you hear? You can. You can hear me? You can't hear Peter. Next one. Okay. All right, so if nobody heard this, what we're doing was we're amending the agenda, we're pulling the SIA off the agenda because we shouldn't have it in the consent agenda when we're hearing the hearing, when we're reviewing the application tonight. So that's the first thing. To do that, requires a vote and a second. Requires a motion and a second. Now we'll vote. So all in favor? Aye. Aye. Did Dan hear that?
Can I ask what the motion was? Because I didn't hear it, Danny.
The motion was to remove the SIA from the consent agenda, so we had to amend the agenda. That's what the vote was for.
I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to, I'm not sure. I'm going to sign out and try to sign back in.
Try that, Dan. Go ahead.
I'm going to sign out of the meeting, and then I'm going to try to sign back in, Danny, because it's just too choppy. I can't hear anything.
Dan, real quick, two things. Do you have a pair of headphones by chance that you can plug in? But I think what it is we're getting feedback from Peter's computer that's right next to you, Danny. So I just muted Peter, and then it works fine. But when Peter's unmuted, that's when we're not hearing well. So I think we should try to go ahead here with Peter's microphone muted. And Peter, we could hear you from Danny's computer. We can hear everything coming through Danny's computer. So.
Okay, I think Dan just tried to sign off and sign back on.
Okay, he can also call in as well.
Sorry, folks, bear with us a minute. We got to get him set up because quorum includes him. Like I got to be sure he's on there. So.
Hey, Dan.
Okay,
Dan, can you hear us?
I'm not getting anything.
Turn off the video.
Okay.
There you go, Dan.
So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well. On the computer?
I'm afraid that this isn't going to work tonight, Danny.
You want to, here, you want me to switch computers with Peter? Can you hear Peter on his?
I don't hear anything.
Can you hear me now, Dan?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, Danny didn't answer me. He didn't hear me. It's breaking in and out. Can you, is this going to work?
Peter's computer is actually worse than Danny's. I just muted Danny, but Peter, your computer is not as good as Danny's was.
Okay.
Danny, can you unmute yourself, please? Okay, go ahead, Danny.
Can you hear me now? Dan, are you there?
There's most of the time there's no sound. It's dead quiet.
I can hear both of you guys perfectly.
I don't know why I'm not getting anything from the chairman.
Can you call in to that phone number?
Oh, a cell phone. That's why. Have him. Just literally have him call in on your phone.
Peter, do you have that in front of you? I can't minimize my screen when I'm recording this Zoom call here. Well, and it looks like Dan left anyhow, so. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh boy, I get a bunch of echoes.
How's that?
Well, no. Boy, I lost everything. It's got real faint.
Can you hear me now?
No, not good.
You can't?
No, it's
Even on your phone?
Did you call him on your phone?
I called him. Let me try Peter to call you. Hold on. Pick up the phone when Peter calls, all right, Dan?
Yeah. You can hear me now? Okay, we'll see what we can do. I've got you on speakerphone on my phone. And I've got you on speakerphone on my phone. Have you got your computer still on?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay, why don't you turn off your computer? Why don't you turn off your computer and then just use my phone to hear what we're saying?
He needs to turn off his computer volume. He needs to shut off his computer volume and just talk to his phone.
All right, I'll see Zoom. I've logged out, but I'm not getting anything on my phone.
You can't hear me.
No, I checked the device. I have full volume on the phone, and I can't hear you. said, you're meeting. I don't know what is going on.
I got full volume on this.
Okay, I heard.
Okay, well, let's see what happens here now. If you can hear us on the phone, then we can do what we need to do.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, we will try to proceed, see if we can make this work, because if we can't get him on the thing, then we're pretty much without a quorum, so we can't continue.
Hey, Danny, I got
He will when I put the phone up there for him.
I got Justin trying to call in as well, Danny.
You have Justin Clausen trying to call in?
Yeah, he's trying to. So go ahead, Danny.
Do you have Justin?
I'm on here. Can you hear me?
Hey, Justin.
Hey,
All right, Justin, are you on? All right, good. Okay. Let's close down. Okay, so we have Justin now. So we got another one. All right, Justin, so you can hear us.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Well, we'll see how this works. See how far we can go here. All right, well, at this time, what we'll do normally through the, we made the amendments to the agenda. So I'll ask Christina if you have any information to share. Any comments, reports?
I don't have any reports from the BCC. The only thing I was going to pull is to let you know we did do that cost comparison on mileage and keep with the system we're doing right now, picking up PC habits if you guys want to.
Okay, all right.
I remember Brandon doing it.
Now, next part of this is that.
Did anyone hear that? Did anyone hear what Christina Stanton said? Because I sure didn't. It was echoing. Can anyone hear Christina Stanton?
Go ahead, Christina, say that again. I guess we have some people on Zoom who could not hear.
Just saying that there are no, the only thing we had to discuss.
Still echoing, can't hear, still echoing.
Okay,
I got it covered. I'll take
I
care of
think
it.
we'll forego any discussion on them tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Out on Zoom, did everybody hear that? There really was nothing to discuss. Did everybody hear that? Yes, we actually have 5 now. Okay, we got 1 on the phone, we got 1 on Zoom, and 3 of us here. Okay. So, all right. So this part of the meeting goes into citizen comments. Now I would ask citizen comments unrelated to any application that we're hearing tonight. If you want to speak on something, other than because you're gonna have the option to speak on the application. So is there anybody who has anything? Seeing none, okay, let's get going though. So what we're here, we'll open this hearing. The first one on the hearing is the DGA amendment, which we're all here for. So how this goes is the Planning Commission, we are a quasi-judicial board. What we do, we're volunteers. What we do is we take the application at hand, we essentially compare it to the codes and ordinances that are out there, and that's what we review. We look at that part of the application. The outcome can be 3 things. We can recommend to approve, recommend to deny, or recommend to approve or deny, or approve with conditions. Okay, we don't have any authority in approving the application, but we can recommend it because any option will go to the board. If we recommend approval, it will go. If we recommend denial, it will still be forwarded to the board. Okay, so at this point, I know we got a lot of people who want to talk tonight. I thank you for coming up and setting up beforehand. What I'm going to do is there's some folks who asked for some additional time, a little bit, and I'm okay with that. They said they'd get to about 3.5, 4 minutes, and if it goes over that, really, I'm gonna call for a recess and end it, and we'll start over. So, yes,
Meeting minutes,
pardon me?
the January 5th meeting minutes.
Oh, good. Okay, Christina, thank you. All right, let me finish this and we'll do that before we jump into the hearing. Thank you. Okay, forgot to approve some meeting minutes. So let me go back. Thank you for the folks coming up and asking, and trying to adhere to the time limits. I appreciate that. We want to try to get finished. So after that, after the public comment, then what we do is then we allow the applicant and staff maybe to answer questions or rebut some things that are said, or give an opportunity to present some things that may inform people of the, the stuff they've had, stuff they've requested. And at that point, we'll end that. Then we as a planning commission will ask our questions, and then we vote. Okay? That's how it goes. The applicant first our staff will present the application. Then we'll ask the applicant to present their part, and then we'll go into citizen comments. Okay, so before we start the staff presentation, what we'll do is let's go over the minutes real quick. I apologize, I did not go through those. Did you guys get a chance to review those meeting minutes? They're fine? Okay. Okay. Second? Dan, Justin, did you guys hear that? Okay, got that. We've got a motion. We've got a second on the meeting minutes from January 5th. So forgo reading of them. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I heard them all. All right, Christina. Do that. Let's go into the application. And this will have staff present that application.
Okay, this is the Spring Valley Ranch DGA Amendment Number 3, DG 200073. Which is a request to approve an amendment to the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide Agreement.
Hey, Danny, can you stop? You can't hear it on Zoom. It's so echoey, it's terrible. We can hear you fine, but cannot hear who's ever talking either at the podium or somewhere.
Do you hear that, Christina? They can't hear it on Zoom.
Well, let me be clear. We can hear it, but it's like there's 4 of them. So
It's really garbled.
either somebody else's microphone is on or something, but we're getting major feedback.
Let me shut my mic off. Christina, try it again, see.
Can you hear me now?
Let's try it. I'll give you a thumbs up on my camera if it's better.
A property owner of Spring Valley
Is it better?
Investments, LLC.
No better.
I've got mine off, you've got yours, so really it should be.
Yeah, mine's on.
But the people on Zoom should be hearing through her. But she's got a separate mic, I think, over there. Daddy, I don't know. You might be right.
Okay.
Or you want to take this mic?
Let me see. I guess if I can just talk right at my computer, maybe you can hear me on Zoom. You wanna try?
Say that again, Christine.
My mic off, I talk right at my computer, then they might be able to hear, but I don't know who else can hear me.
It's slightly better, but still not great by any means. It's going to be hard to listen the entire time.
Why don't you go to Danny's?
Christina, I'm walking over from the office with my computer. I'll be there in a second.
And I wish we could go back to normal.
Can Christina just sit at your computer, Danny, and use it?
Make sure your computer speakers are muted or silenced.
Say it again, Justin.
That one wasn't me, but I think they're just saying.
This is Jim Chaney. Sorry. If you're having feedback, it can be coming back through. If you're using a laptop, it's feeding back through the laptop speakers, perhaps.
Shut your laptop off. How come we're getting the echo?
The only thing it's on is that something.
No, is that what we... Here comes Greg. He's gonna, yeah.
So, Danny, can you hear me okay?
I got a couple people talking at the same time. Justin, hold on. I can hear you. Come on up, Daddy. What are you saying? No, I
can see how his computer is set up to speakers in the Zoom meeting. I can see where it's picking up the sound in the mic, but I have to look at his computer.
Yep. Danny,
You're muted. Yours is on.
Mine's on.
Okay.
And I've tried it both muted and off.
Just through yours.
So what we need to figure out is what your computer is doing in the Zoom. So go to your Zoom controls.
Here there.
Oh, you
There's
muted,
video. Now here's mute.
Okay.
So I've got it. Now I'm open.
To go to your Zoom. Do you have an app? Do you have the Zoom app?
I got the Zoom
Go
app.
to the,
Wanna
go to
try?
the home Zoom. So minimize that for a sec. Okay, now go to your this. Go to your this. That
Go
was
to my
really-
this.
Yeah, go to
That's
your this,
okay.
Danny, okay.
So what part?
And then I want you to go to meeting Zoom home.
Meeting.
Okay, let's see. I want to look at your
Here it is. Take a look. Pat, you can figure it out better than I am.
Okay, I'm going to do this for a second because I want to see where settings are.
Justin, can you hear me now?
Audio.
Yeah, that's way better, Christina.
See, there's no.
Okay, I'm using Greg's laptop now.
See, that might be.
Okay, we're getting you out of the speaker.
Computers.
Hold on just a second.
I don't need.
Yeah.
It's right there. Join auto by computer when joining a meeting. I thought I did that.
Use separate audio device. But that's to play ringtones.
That's the ringtone.
Sorry.
Do you need
put it on
to
the
go
Try to
ahead?
join audio.
But if you do that,
Then I get the echo so bad.
I know you're going to get the. See, the problem is you can't have more than one Zoom open at the
Trying to
same
work
time.
out some echo.
I'm wondering if it's on their end, maybe not.
Some people are saying they can hear.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk to the guys that are trying to tie in.
But, so you're not getting sound out, which none of us can hear anything from your.
Can you guys hear me in here though?
We can sort of hear you.
This is only going out of a Zoom.
Yeah, but I think they can't hear if it's coming in. So his internal mic is what they're using. It's not hearing.
Well, Justin says he can hear me when I'm on Greg's laptop.
Because you're the
So I'm like,
source.
I think we're ready at least here now to go forward.
That's what this is. I can hear them.
Are you not muted on yours?
I am muted.
I need to.
Are you in the sound system?
Danny. Justin says he can hear me on Greg's laptop.
Make it quick.
Speakers are
Okay.
Let me take a shower because
Do.
coming out to the audience.
So now, what did you say, Christina? Can Justin hear?
You can hear me on Greg's laptop.
On Greg's laptop. Okay, there you go.
Are you gonna fix me?
Yeah, I'll get you back.
Get me back to where I was. Patty, I'll be all screwed up.
Yeah.
I didn't do that right, sorry.
Oh, there we go. Hit that little, I know how to get there.
There you go.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
So Justin, can you hear us now?
I can hear you, and I can also hear somebody doing their dishes.
Okay, good. We will try to continue.
All right, so data and timeline for this application. Again, property owner is Spring Valley Land Investments LLC, and applicant is Jim.
Yeah, you're gonna have to talk because
Okay,
there.
can you hear me still on Zoom?
I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, property owner, Spring Valley Land Investments LLC. Applicant is Jim Marshall. Property is approximately 245 acres. Community meeting was held October 22nd, 2020. Application submittal was November 9th, 2020. And they were on referral for the application for November 16th through December 7th. Originally, there was a planning commission meeting scheduled for January 5th, but some other notices needed to be taken care of, so it was continued to tonight, January 19th. It was originally scheduled for the January 27th Board of County Commissioner meeting, but due to the notice issues that were addressed, that will be pushed out to February 10th for BOCC. The public hearing was mailed originally to property owners on December 18th, 2020, within quarter mile, and hosted on the subject property on December 9th, 2020. And it was in the Elbert County News on December 17th, 2020. The additional notices that had to go out went out on January 5th. Mailed letters here. This is an affidavit and a sample letter that went out to the other properties. This was on the Douglas County side. This zoning map shows the project area boundaries. It shows a lot of the surrounding properties, zoning. A lot of it's agricultural, but you do see some smaller residential that are AR, RA, and some other, I think there's even some A2s in here, and some other PUDs in the area as well. This is the aerial map for the project, and it's a little busy because I have the subdivision layers turned on so you can see labeling for different subdivision names. But you can see that there's Thunder Hill, Deer Creek, Prairie Trail, Pearson's Ranch, a whole bunch of other subdivisions there in that vicinity. The application, like I said, was sent out to referral agencies per the Elbert County regulations. Responding referral agencies, Elbert County Public Health had no objections. Elbert County Building Department had no objections, but did include a note, which is part of the packet. Elbert County Assessor's Office had no objections. The U.S. Fish Wildlife Services had no concerns. Phillips 66 Company had no objections. Colorado Geological Survey had no objections. IREA had no comments. And the Elizabeth Fire Protection District had no objections. Proposed amendment 3, kind of highlight some of the changes in here. This is in the staff report, section 3.5, change language to clarify phases of developments and allow the developer to post sufficient financial security in the form of a bond or performance guarantee to ensure completeness of the phase as required by section 6.100. Section 6.2.2 deleted in its entirety, that was County Road 1721. Section 6.2.3 deleted in its entirety, reference to County Road 186. Section 6.2.4 changed the issuance of any residential building permits within planning area M to prior to the issuance of the 7th residential building permit within planning area M. Section 6.2.5 deleted in its entirety, referencing County Road 17. Section 6.2.6 changed up to County Road 174 in conjunction with the issuance of any residential building permits for planning area M to north of County Road 174 prior to the issuance of the 7th residential building permit for planning area M. Section 6.2.7 changed County Road 182 to County Road 178 and changed in conjunction with the issuance of any residential building permits for planning area M2 in conjunction prior to the issuance of the 7th residential building permit for planning area M, added all right-of-way, drainage, temporary and permanent easements necessary to construct and maintain County Road 178 have been acquired through deed or dedication to Elbert County. Section 6.2.8 deleted in its entirety is reference to County Road 182. Section 6.2.9 changed north of County Road 182 in conjunction with the issuance of any residential building permits for planning area M2 north the northern boundary of Spring Valley Ranch planning area M, all the way up to and connecting to County Road 178 prior to the issuance of the 7th residential building permit for planning area M. So those are the major changes from the previous agreements to what is being proposed. And staff is recommending that the Planning Commission recommend to the BOCC approval of DG 200073, subject to conditions 1 through 2 here. 1 being the applicant will be required to remove public signs within 7 days of a decision by the Board of County Commissioners. 2, recordation of all appropriate documentation to occur within 180 days of the Board of County Commissioners approval.
Real food is ready.
Thank you.
Contact us carry out or delivery.
Get your taxes done with or without the office. Drop in, drop off. Your docs and the tax code.
Hey, Greg.
Or file online to help you need.
Hey, guys,
No matter how you.
Zoom, can you please mute yourself?
I think, are there people on the phone as well, Greg? This is Justin.
Yes, please, anybody out there, go ahead and mute yourself, please. Go to the next slide, Christine. Purpose of this public hearing is to consider the reapproval of the third amendment to the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide Agreement. The proposal amends specific sections and obligations contained in the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide to conform with current market and budget conditions. The amendment process does not involve the design or approval of ranch code improvements. The process of amending contracts and agreements refers to make changes to conditions and circumstances that didn't exist at the time the contract or agreement was originated. Circumstances in Spring Valley Ranch and Spring Valley Vistas have changed dramatically since the approval of the second amendment to the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide Agreement in 2006. I'll be referencing Spring Valley Ranch, Spring Valley Vistas, and the third amendment to the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide Agreement in my present presentation. Soliciting services covered in this SVR. This is. I want to start with just a little bit of background. We've got the slide up here. Vicinity map for the Spring Valley Ranch community. Ranch is it sits on
approximately 2,200.
Hey guys, lots of feedback. We can't hear a thing on Zoom. There's a lot of feedback.
Original DGA 3 application was
Can anyone hear?
Dan, can you mute your
Hey, we can't hear a thing.
Elbert County District Court.
Hello?
DGA applications.
We can't hear anything he's saying. It's echoing. Stop talking. We cannot hear. It's echoing. Please address those issues.
Van, your iPad is unmuted.
Microphone.
If you're Van, please mute your iPad. Van, you're still unmuted.
I know.
Whatever.
Give it a try.
Justin, can you hear?
I can hear. Go ahead and give it a try, but now I can hear myself talking in your computer.
Okay. I'll mute you. I'll try to mute my.
Yes. Can you turn it around? Can you guys hear if you turn it around?
I can hear.
You guys move the slides for me at least?
Yeah, we can do that.
Do you need this?
Don't do slides. You'll have to speak up so that
I can't use the microphone?
I guess not.
Dan, we can hear you.
What? It was working with Christina was using the microphone.
I don't hear anybody else.
Okay. Well, it was coming from my computer.
Okay.
Modern technology.
Let's do it at the podium.
Modern technology. Modern technology doesn't work.
Okay, so this is okay, got it.
I know it's the whole thing. Yeah. I know it's all new.
So can Justin hear me now?
Justin, can you hear?
I can hear him, but I hear you, Danny, more than him.
Okay. Try it again, Jim.
Okay.
No.
The original DGA application was heard and approved by the Elbert County Board of County Commissioners on February 18th, 2018. Decision by the Elbert County District Court in July of 2020.
No,
The DGA
Danny.
application to be renoticed and reheard. It was the opinion of the court that the Elbert County's notice provisions that were in effect at the time DGA 3 was originally approved.
Danny, I can't hear him.
Justin, can you hear me?
No.
Okay. Try it. Do it one more time. Let me.
Justin, can you hear me? Is Dan still on?
It's through my computer.
This is the only way we can hear is through your
Yeah.
computer. Your computer.
Hold on. Danny, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay. Your computer sounds wonderful. Can Jim Marshall
I
come
can
up?
stand behind you and talk back there and maybe you can hear me.
I was just going to take my computer over to Jim.
Yeah.
Here, we'll do that. See if that works. Maybe we can get.
And
Oh,
Mike,
man. There, see if that works.
Hey, Justin, can you hear?
I can hear you. Go for it.
Okay, great, thanks. I'm gonna start over. It's not that much into it. The purpose of this public hearing is to present and consider the reapproval of the Third Amendment to the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide Agreement The proposal amends specific sections and obligations contained in the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide to conform with current market and project conditions. The amendment process does not involve the design or approval process for any actual improvements. The process of amending contracts and agreements occurs routinely to accommodate changes in conditions and circumstances that didn't exist at the time the contract or agreement was originated. Circumstances surrounding Spring Valley Ranch and Spring Valley Vistas have changed dramatically since the approval of the Second Amendment to the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide Agreement in 2006. I'll be referencing Spring Valley Ranch, Spring Valley Vistas, and the Third Amendment to the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide Agreement throughout my presentation. For simplicity purposes, I'll refer to them as SVR, the Vistas, and DGA3 respectively. The original DGA3 application was heard and approved by Elbert County Board of County Commissioners on February 14th, 2018. A decision by the Elbert County District Court in July of 2020 required the DGA application to be renoticed and reheard. It was the opinion of the court that Elbert County's notice provisions that were in effect at the time DGA3 was originally approved in 2018 did not provide adequate public notice for the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioner public hearings. The court did not object to the content of the approved amendment. Spring Valley Ranch is a 1,786 unit master plan golf course community on approximately 2,200 acres. It's located north of Singing Hills Road, south of the proposed CR 178 alignment, and runs east and west of County Road 1721 to County Road 13 on its western boundary. Large master plan communities such as Spring Valley Ranch are developed in several phases and take many years to complete. As a result, the development of the offsite road network, water and wastewater systems are also developed in phases as impacts warrant. Constructing infrastructure before it's needed is not only cost prohibitive but unwise, as improvements that are not used deteriorate much faster than infrastructure that's being utilized. SVR was originally approved in 2001. The Development Guide Agreement was amended in 2004, 2006, and as stated previously in 2018. Phase 1 construction of SVR started in late 2004. New home sales began in 2006. No new lots were developed from 2008 to 2016 due to the severe economic collapse that began in late 2007. The intersection upgrades to County Road 1721 and Singing Hills Road and the initial 2 miles of County Road 1721 north to County Road 174 that are required in the SVR DGA were constructed with Phase 1 Spring Valley Ranch improvements. The Spring Valley Ranch Metropolitan District Number 1 provides central water and central sewer service to the Spring Valley Golf Course and all residential and commercial lots within the community. SVR draws its water from the Lower Dawson, Denver, Arapahoe, and Laramie Fox Hill aquifers. SVR is precluded from using water in the Upper Dawson aquifer. The Upper Dawson Formation is used by most residential lots of 2.5 acres or larger in Elbert County. All SVR water was quantified and adjudicated in Division I Water Court and meets the county's 300-year aquifer life requirement. All SVR wells are between 1,500 and 2,000 feet deep and cost roughly $1 million per well to drill and complete. SVR currently has 6 wells. The district began working on the implementation of SVR's water reuse system in 2018. The filing 6 final plat that was submitted roughly 18 months ago is designed with the purple pipe required to deliver reuse water for outdoor irrigation purposes to 247 residential lots. SVR plans to deliver reuse water to the Spring Valley Golf Course and to the future residential neighborhoods. Phase 1 for SVR Filing 1 was constructed over 15 years ago. Most of SVR's roads are in good condition considering their age. Over the past several months, we've been working to catalog all areas that need maintenance or repair. Although some maintenance work was complete in the summer of 2018, we are implementing the initial phase of an extensive road maintenance program this calendar year. We will address the areas that are in obvious need of attention first. Several local roads have been constructed in the past 3 to 5 years within the community and are in very good shape. Christina, can you flip to the next slide, please? Spring Valley Vistas was approved in January of 2007. The PUD was approved for 3,000 residential units, multiple school sites, a commercial retail business park, a fire station, a and several park areas. The Vistas Traffic Impact Assessment dated August 30th, 2006, and updated on February 26, 2007, projected that the Vistas would generate over 32,000 new traffic trips per day at build-out. The development of the Vistas project did not move forward as a result of the severe economic downturn that started in late 2007. The approvals for Spring Valley Vistas have lapsed. The land parcels that comprised the Vistas project have been acquired by unrelated third-party landowners. It's expected that the build-out of the former Vistas land will be predominantly 35-acre lot. The second amendment to the SVR DGA and the PUD application for SVV were being processed concurrently by the county in 2006. The population of northwestern Elbert County has doubled over the past 3 decades. Not one new road has been constructed. Next slide, please. This graphic here is an aerial view, and we put on several of the larger communities that are in the northwestern part of Elbert County. But this is the 2021 road exhibit for the roads that we're proposing that we would still build. You'll notice that County Road, I don't know how well people can see it, but County Road 178 is 3 miles. County Road 13 is 2 miles, heading north from Deer Creek Ranch up to County Road 178. County Road 174 from County Road 21 over to County Road 13. And obviously 178 goes from County Road 13 to the Delaware Road. The SVR updated traffic impact analysis dated April 27th of 2020 studied current 2025 and 2040 traffic conditions and recommends that the developer should fund or construct a paved 2-lane roadway along the CR 178 alignment between Delbert Road and County Road 13. And 2.14 miles of and 2.14 miles of County Road 13 south of County Road 178. The analysis also recommends acceleration, deceleration, turn lanes, and traffic control improvements at the intersection of County Road 178 and Delbert Road. All additional right-of-way and construction easements for the construction of the County Road 13, 174, and 178 alignment will be acquired from private property owners, all of which support the construction of the new road alignment. There is no right-of-way for County Road 182. The recorded final plat for Delbert Hills is located just north of Meadow Station. It's where you see the jog in the road on County Road 178. The recorded final plat for Delbert Hills dedicated to Elbert County the western half mile of County Road 178 right away. Although the developer proposes to begin the construction of County Roads 13, 174, and 178 with the initial phase of Spring Valley Filing 5, the LSC traffic analysis mentioned above states that the improvements are not needed until approximately 285th certificate of occupancy in Filing 5. Filing 5 plat is approved, but not yet developed. The updated Spring Valley Ranch traffic study was prepared by LSC Transportation Consultants and was reviewed by Elbert County's independent third-party consultant, Kimley Horn. Kimley Horn concurred with LSC's recommendation. County Roads 13, 174, and 178 are all public roads and provide public access for thousands of residents in northwestern Elbert County. The 13, 178, 4, and 178 public road alignment will create a much-needed directional east-west road connection in northwestern Elbert County. By directional, I mean you don't have to go south to go north or east to go west, as is the case currently. The alignment will divert and disperse current and future traffic from Spring Valley, Deer Creek, and Vista Ridge areas away from Singing Hills Road, Delbert Road, south of County Road 178, County Road 186, east of Delbert Road, and even some traffic on County Line. The new road alignment will reduce drive times from the Spring Valley, Deer Creek area by 5 to 10 minutes when heading northwest. Elbert County has no desire to build or maintain roads that are not needed. The offsite road obligations contained in the original DGA back in 2001 and subsequently amended in DGA 2 total 15.5 miles of new paved roads and a $220,000 cash contribution to the 1.14 miles of County Road north from Deer Creek Ranch to County Road 174. And again, I don't know how well everybody can see this stuff, but got my thing here with me. So, basically, that green line, if you can see the green line where 174 cuts across to Vista Ridge subdivision, the 1.41 miles is south of County Line or County Road 174. It should be noted that until July of 2020, the approved and recorded DGA-3 was valid and binding document, and that all actions required for right-of-way acquisition, road design, drainage studies, traffic studies, construction plans, and all subsequent reviews and approvals were based on roadway amendments contained in the 2018 recorded version of DGA-3. The court requested the DGA-3 be renoticed. It did not object to the content of the amendment. Next slide, please. This is a summary. Christine kind of hit the high points. There's a couple of other things that we're actually amending here. We start with the deletion of section 5.22, which is redundant with section 4. The overall density remains at 1,786 lots. We're not changing the density, but we are asking to delete section 5.22 as it basically states the same information as section 4. Reasserting the commitment to water conservation in section 6.6, which is our reuse system. And the third thing is we're memorializing the obligation to fund the Elbert County Growth Impact Fee of $2,453 per lot, which is a voluntary increase from what we were approved for back in the beginning of the project, and an economic development fee, which is a new fee that the county had asked us to pay for all remaining residential permits within the Spring Valley Ranch community. This is being added to the DGA. It's not in there right now. We have been paying the $24.53 and the $350 per lot since the DGA was approved back in February of 2018 on all new lots that have been where building permits have been pulled. So the county has been receiving those fees since early in 2018. The fourth thing is we're modifying the phasing language to clarify conditions. Christina did mention this. That was the item where we agreed that in order to develop multiple phases, as long as the SIAs are recorded and the surety acceptable to Elbert County is posted, that we could develop multiple phases. And then the last item is the redefining of the road obligations, which I'll get into a little more detail here. The requested amendment to section 6.2 involves the deletion, which is the roadway section of the DGA, involves the deletion of 10.5 miles of offsite roads that were needed to serve the combined traffic impacts generated by 4,786 residential units and ancillary uses for the SVR and Spring Valley Vistas project. We are including 3 miles of new roads, offsite roads, which is County Road 178, and we're amending the language that currently exists on the southern 1.14 miles of County Road 13. Our obligation on that road was to contribute $220,000. Can we go to the next area, Christine? Thanks. What we have here, this is a little more detailed map. Everything that is outlined in red and has the hash marks through it, that is the land that was Spring Valley Ranch. This project was approved in January of 2007. There's a resolution that was signed by the 3 county commissioners at the time. And we do have a traffic study that was completed. Well, it was originally, it was originally completed in 2006. It was updated in early 2007. It specifically identified County Roads 182 and the extension of County Road 13 as obligations that were required for Spring Valley Vistas. And you'll notice County Road 182 is just south of Smoky Hill Ranches, Cottonwood Hills, and Mountain View Estates. It was designed to go over to County 21 at the time, and it does go through the northern part of Spring Valley Vistas. If it was intended just for the sole use of Spring Valley Ranch, we never would have gone that last mile. The requested amendment, the 4.14 miles of new obligations in conjunction with the 2 miles constructed at the beginning of the project in phase 1 of County Road 1721. The 1 mile of County Road 13 and the 2 miles of County Road 174 that remain unchanged from the existing DGA are necessary to serve the build-out traffic impacts generated by Spring Valley Ranch. DGA 3 takes the total off-site road construction for Spring Valley Ranch to 9.14 miles with only 1,786 residential units. That's a decrease of 3,000 residential units plus all the ancillary uses that were included in Spring Valley Vistas. The bottom line is SVR will build 9.14 miles of off-site roads, which translates to 58% of the 2006 road obligations to serve only 37% of the residential impacts that were approved between Spring Valley Ranch and Spring Valley Vistas. So we're getting 58% of the roads for 37% of the impacts. As I stated earlier, the 10.5 miles to be deleted are the 1 mile of County Road 13 north from 178 to 182. So it's that green section above the highlighted area. And on my thing here. Second, 5 miles of County Road 182. So this 5 miles here, this 1 mile here, are both being requested to be deleted. 1 mile of County Road 186, which is on the northern, let me get this thing to work right. This 1 mile up here that connects in with the existing paved section of 186. And 3 miles of County Road 21 from County Road 174, which is right here, all the way up to here. And then 0.5 miles of County Road 17, which is right here. I gotta use my right hand. So that's right here, that's that half a mile. The total is 10.5 miles, as I mentioned. We're out, and I'm gonna get back to my thing here. The 3 miles to be added are 178 east from County Road 13, which is goes back to the previous slide that I showed. And 1 mile of County Road 13 north from County Road 174 to 178. The 2 miles of County Road 174, which are still intact, and the 1.13 miles that we talked about. The 2021 cost to construct the 1.4 miles of County Road 13, which is currently Elbert County's obligation. You can see there that we have identified that we have a $220,000 cash contribution to that portion of County Road 13 currently. And that goes back to the original development guide agreement in 2001. The estimated cost for that road today is $1,450,000. That's an estimate based on actual bids that we got recently for that portion of the road. We're only responsible for $220,000 of that currently. The county's portion of that is $1,230,000 under the current obligations. The county contribution would obviously be funded through tax dollars, which ultimately comes from the taxpayers. We're proposing that obligation to Elbert County be removed. As documented on page 20 of the August 30, 2006 traffic impact assessment for Spring Valley Vistas, the 2 mile extension of County Road 13 and 5 miles of County Road 182 were contemplated to supplement existing county roads over time and were warranted specifically as a result of the 3,000 unit Spring Valley Vistas project. With the elimination of Spring Valley Vistas, 6 miles of off-site roads are no longer warranted. The obligation to improve County Road 182 and County Road 13, as described above, were included in the 2006 Second Amendment to the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide Amendment, as both SVR and Spring Valley Vistas projects were owned by the same legal entity and were being funded and developed by the same company. The deletion of the non-directional 3 mile County Road 21 and 1 mile of County Road 186 access, which is the green lines that run north from County Road 174 and up to County Road 186 there, are total 4 miles. This was approved in 2001 with the County Road 17413. The result of the County Road 17413 and 178 alignment creates a more efficient road alignment and diverts traffic from the existing paved portions of County Road 86 on the south side of Elkhorn Ranch and Amanda Pines, and the north side of Smoky Hill Ranches, Cottonwood Hills, and Mountain View Estates. The more efficient and directional County Road 17413, 178 alignment replaces the 5 miles of CR 182 and the northern 1 mile of County Road 13. As previously stated, the need to construct the deleted offset road obligations related to County Roads 13, 17, 1721, 182, and 186 no longer are needed. There's approximately 10 sections of undeveloped ranch land that abut these existing dirt or undeveloped road sections. There's currently no need for Elbert County tax dollars to be used to build any of these deleted roads. As has been the case in the past 30 years, Elbert County will not pave or develop any unnecessary new roads. Future development will. And if and when it occurs, Elbert County will continue to spend its available dollars to maintain existing road infrastructure. The estimated construction cost based on actual bids for 17413 and 178 exceeds $11 million. No Elbert County tax dollars will be used to fund these improvements. The funding is in place to complete the proposed road construction. At this point, I'd like to bring up Chris McGranahan. He's my traffic engineer with LSC Transportation. I'd like Chris just to talk for a couple of minutes about the traffic study that was completed in April of this past year. And it's a study that warrants the it's a study that warrants the construction of 178 and the roads that we're suggesting that we should be required to pave.
Thanks, Jim. Chris McGranahan, LSC Transportation Consultants. I'm a professional engineer in the state of Colorado, and I'm a professional traffic operations engineer, which is a national certification. LSC has been doing work in the metro area since the mid-'70s, and I've been involved in our Denver office or Colorado Springs office since the early 2000s. Our firm frequently does roughly about 100 traffic studies per year. We do a few in Elbert County here and there. Basically, our traffic studies involve several components that we piece together to give us a snapshot of what the future conditions might look like and how to determine what the potential mitigation might be to mitigate traffic impacts. So first thing we start with is traffic counts. So we did a large number of traffic counts. We also looked at other developments in the area that are in different various stages of approvals, Independence being one. Obviously, Spring Valley Ranch is another. We looked at growth rates in the county, excluding those properties, so just what the natural growth rate might be without any of these big developments. And then we looked at all this traffic added together, and we come up with an impact. And our task as the traffic engineer was to let Jim know, now that he has 1,700 and something units rather than 4,700, what do we need to mitigate these impacts? And that's where we started developing this alternative with CR 178. And so that traffic study was submitted, reviewed, we got feedback, and ultimately that was accepted and used as the basis for taking this alignment to the next level. So that's pretty much my role in the project. Jim just wanted me to get up here and tell you kind of the backstory of what we did and how we got to where we did.
Obviously, Chris will be available to answer any questions that any of the commissioners have. Christina, can you go to the next slide, please? So I want to summarize some benefits, financial benefits to the County of Elbert. Number one, we're relieving them of $1,230,000 on the southern 1.14 miles of County Road 13. The increased growth and economic development fee represents approximately $1,900,000 in new money. That's based on about 1,300 new homes left to build in Spring Valley. Every time a building permit is pulled, there's permit fees, there's use taxes on the estimated construction cost of the house. We're estimating on 1,300 homes that it's roughly $3,000 a house. That's another 3.9 million. So we've got total one-time revenue sources of $7 million and $30,000 based on those numbers. And the net build out based on Elbert County's current certified mill levy of 28 mills roughly on the total 1,786 homes with an average home price of $450,000 as a zero estimate, will generate about $1.6 million a year to the county in perpetual annual tax revenue at build-out. With that, I don't really have much more to add at this point. Certainly be available for questions, and we'll probably have a few comments after the public testimony. Does anybody have any questions? I know there was a lot of information here. Again, we're here tonight to contemplate amending the obligations, the offsite obligations on roads and a couple of other things. We're not here to, we're not here discussing design or any of that stuff. Okay.
What I'll do is I'll get public comment, and each person comes up and comments or questions of whatever they present. We'll make notes of it, and then after we get all that completed, then we'll kind of go back and ask if you could maybe address some of the things that came up in those comment sections, so that way we can kind of keep it. Okay?
Yeah, that sounds fine, and obviously we'll be taking notes too.
Okay, so yeah, if you could.
Thanks.
So, I wonder if I need to leave my computer out there.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, seems like it's the only darn thing that's working. All right, so to start tonight, what we'll do, we'll start with public comment, but we'll take the public comment from the folks who are here. All right, there was a sign-in list. I don't know if everybody got a chance to sign in, and I'll just go right down the list. How this will go, if you could please. I'm trying to keep it to 3 minutes. I've allowed some people to go over. They came up and asked to kind of the max of 4 minutes. So what we'll do is present your name, your address. That will not be accounted for in your time presented. Okay, and then go with your comments. Okay? So we'll go right down the list. First one, Candace Gallia.
Can I just make sure that the people on the can hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you. Go for it.
Okay, great. Thanks. Candace Padilla, and I'm at 446 Meadow Station Circle. Yep. Elbert County zoning regulations specify that they are designed to promote the health, safety, and welfare of present and future inhabitants of Elbert County. Statutorily, welfare is defined as promoting both physical and material well-being. This proposal does not promote the safety and welfare of Elbert County citizens, as it shifts tax burdens that are currently and contractually on the developer onto taxpayers. In addition, this proposal violates and/or inadequately addresses at least 5 Elbert County zoning regulations, which we have provided in an attached document for your convenience in your folders, or in Christina, I think, has emailed in the chat box if you're on Zoom. This proposal fails most egregiously in terms of Article 7F1, as it does not conform to and is generally inconsistent with the goals and policies of the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan, which states that maintenance and infrastructure improvements are not currently keeping pace with the county's increasing traffic demands, and new residential development should cover all costs of on and off-site roads. It also fails in terms of Article 7F6, since the proposal will in fact be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. An amendment means a change, and to know whether or not this change enhances the safety and welfare of Elbert County citizens is consistent with the goals and policies of the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan, and thus deserves your approval, requires understanding the current agreements in place. This developer is asking you to change 3 things in his current contract with the county: the roads he's obligated to build or pave, the dual reuse water irrigation system he is currently under contract to build, and the development's impact fees. In 2002, Elbert County agreed to let this developer build 678 homes in return for, and I'm sorry you people on the Zoom can't see this, but we're showing it on a map that Mr. Marshall himself presented at the concept meeting. In return for 678 homes, he was building north-south roads from Singing Hills to County Line Road. And very specifically, County Road 1721, it says in his contract, shall be constructed in conformance with county regulations in cooperation with Elbert County from County Road 174 North to County Road 186, prior to the issuance of the 400th residential building permit within Spring Valley Ranch. On October 22nd, 2020, the developer stated in a community meeting that he had built 443 homes. The developer has failed to meet that contractual obligation, so there must be a higher level of scrutiny by county officials, since his new proposal seeks to further reduce his obligations. In 2006, the Elbert County Board of County Commissioners made a very simple trade: 7 miles of road for 600 more home permits. And nothing in either the resolution or the final DGA2 mentions the Spring Valley Vista subdivision, as Mr. Marshall tries to assert in his application.
Thank you. So I'm Lane Dilla, 446 Meadow Station. So if you look closely at Lane Dilla. Yep. So if you look closely at County Road 178, the developer wants to substitute for County Road 182, traveling 1 mile up County Road 13 to 182 for 3 miles and then straight across to East Parker Road. As the developer is currently contracted to build, is no different for commuters than traveling 3 miles down County Road 178, 1 mile up Elbert Road, and turning left onto East Parker Road. Except in terms of traffic and safety concerns, which we are going to detail later here. This proposal substitutes the 13.5 miles of road that the developer is currently obligated to build or pave for only 7 miles, and thus shifts at least $6.5 million of road construction back to Elbert County citizens. There is absolutely no difference, no evidence of advantage, and in the presentations tonight, you'll see some real disadvantages in building 178, as opposed to currently contracted obligated 182. If contrary to the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan, county officials can cite reasons that the east-west roads are not currently needed and should therefore be funded by future development, then Elbert County can simply enforce its current contracts with this developer in terms of the original north-south road set out 20 years ago and currently under contract that provide another avenue for fire protection, outlets to E470, Southlands Mall, shopping, and the airport. The proposal before you tonight is in contravention of zoning regulation Article 7, F1, F5, and F6, as well as Article 8, B1, and F5. Based on the Elbert County zoning regulations cited, this amendment fails to respect to roads. In terms of the water system, on August 30th, 2004, the first amendment to the SVR DGA, the developer was given permission to build an additional 508 homes, called a density bonus. And the contract states that the developer has agreed to install a dual reuse water irrigation system to each residential lot. Those systems have not been installed. Again, Elbert County has failed to enforce its existing contract with this developer. Recently, Mr. Marshall met with homeowners in the SVR development and promised once again that he will build this system and that he's committed to this water reuse system. Many believe him and are here tonight in support of this. As county officials, we have a duty to remember that this developer is in default on a current contract with Elbert County as we speak. The proposal before you states only that Spring Valley Ranch Metropolitan District Number 1 is committed to implement water conservation measures, including the use of reclaimed water for outdoor irrigation purposes. This language does not provide a contractual basis for the promises Mr. Marshall has given the SVR residents. Thus, again, citing Article 7, F6, this proposal fails to protect the material well-being of those being promised orally, but not by a contractual agreement. To install the dual reuse water irrigation system originally and legally obligated to Mr. Marshall's current contract with Elbert County, and it's up to you to protect these citizens for your zoning regulations.
Thank you. My name is Stephen W. Della at 446 Meadow Station Circle. I guess finally what I want to say, finally the impact fees. That's where county's gonna receive all this money from Mr. Marshall. Impact fees are determined by Colorado state statute based on projects and services planned or underway. Elbert County Commissioners paid $56,000 to carefully study what fees the county is allowed by statute to assess. Albert County zoning regulations, Article 1-1.3.c states, regarding all fees set by Elbert County, impact fees and all fees will be set at a level to recover costs incurred by the county to accommodate development. I want to interject one thing here. Mr. Marshall's fees are tied back to 2006. 2006 was a long time ago. Things have changed. He'd like those 2006 fees memorialized. They're probably about half of what they should be. In order to set impact fees, a study must be undertaken to determine the legality of appropriate fees based in Elbert County. Impact fees for homes. This has not been done at this point in time. Thus, the proposal fails to provide evidence of a basis for its impact fees based on a study that would determine a level to recover costs to be incurred by the county in this development. If Mr. Marshall wants to abide by the current contract regarding impact fees, that may be permissible. However, there is no legal basis to justify the fees he's asking to be memorialized in the current proposal. This agreement must be rejected because there is no legal, factual basis on which it can be accepted. It disadvantages Elbert County taxpayers and citizens in every aspect and violates county zoning regulations as a result. We ask that you reject the Spring Valley DGA Amendment 3, DG 200073, an amendment to the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide pursuant to Elbert County zoning regulations. I'd like to step over here for a second and show you. You saw this number that was pretty close. What Mr. Marshall had put on one of his slides. It was 2803, which is the 2553 plus the 350. Okay, so Mr. Marshall he said Mr. Marshall said he had roughly 1,300 homes. We put 1,400 on here. That's about $3.9 million. Now, the county has just done this study, and they should be between
he should end up with the new study between 8 million and 10 million. So it's about less than half of what he would like to pay. Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, volunteer planning commissioners. My name is Patty McKernan, and I live at 97 Meadow Station Road in District 2. I've lived in Elbert County for over 18 years and moved here after 9/11 seeking a peaceful, safe, and rural life. I've often joked that there's traffic today when I had to wait for 1 or 2 cars before turning on or off of Delbert Road. That is no longer a joke, as more and more land has been approved for high-density housing, which is why we are here today. Spring Valley Ranch was approved prior to my arrival, and even when I took my children out for golf lessons, I didn't see very many houses. I really wasn't aware of the growth or the name Jim Marshall until the debacle of Spring Valley Vistas in 2006 and 7. Little did I know that citizens had to become experts in water, traffic, and land use in order to survive in this county. Fast forward to today and the application to build CR 178 in Spring Valley's DGA 3. There are many points of contention, but I'll talk about 3. Number 1, Jim Marshall's already breached his contract with Elbert County. Number 2, the roads contracted by Marshall in DGA 1 were not built before the 400th permit, and the county did nothing to enforce the contract. And number 3, the Cora records show that there were concerns with the selection of 178 and a lack of analysis comparing the original planned 182 from the 2008 Transportation Master Plan, which, by the way, Judge Holmes' 2009 Colorado Supreme Court decision confirmed is binding, non-advisory. Therefore, in front of you today is a packet that includes the sign-off of DGA 3 for Spring Valley Ranch. You are being asked to check the boxes tonight. Paid county employees have checked the boxes, giving their consent to this amendment. The question is, did they do their homework? I have strong doubts, but I do look to you to do yours. Let me quote from an email from Chris Martin, the Douglas County traffic engineer who reviewed the 178 traffic impact analysis in August of 2018. Quote, as the network depicts rejected alternatives, we would ask who made the selection/rejection decisions and what was the criteria for determining which routes would be rejected, end quote. And, quote, what does Elbert County see as the benefits of this connection to Delbert Road over the connection to Delbert Road via the 182 alignment shown in your current transportation master plan, end quote. There are no recorded answers to these questions. Ladies and gentlemen, although it's all gentlemen tonight, so gentlemen, this is the question in front of you today. Who made the selection? The answer is Jim Marshall. Is Marshall a citizen of Elbert County? Nope. Marshall is the repeated subject of litigation and anger and is the party who is negotiating with himself because the commissioners are rubber stamping and not holding him to his contract with the citizens of Elbert County. Not only does Marshall seem to have a hold here, but it appears he has sway over Douglas County as well. Per my previous quote, Dougco had serious concerns over the choice, yet received no responses to their inquiry. Rory Hale even berated Christina Stanton for Baseline's dropping the ball again. Last February, Marshall reached out to Matt Williams, the Dougco Assistant Director of Public Works Engineering, and mentioned a meeting they had held a few weeks ago. Within 90 minutes of that email, Dougco no longer had objections to the selection of 178 over 182. The simple fact is that the benefit of selecting 178 is $1 million in Jim Marshall's pocket, but will be a giant liability for the Elbert County taxpayers. You have the ability to demand safety and a financial benefit review of this proposal, and I urge you to do so and reject this proposal. Thank you.
Yep, that's me. Is this the one working? Okay. Tom Redmond, I live in 24 Meadows Station Road. So I'm kind of new to this whole thing with Spring Valley Ranch, but when I saw what was happening, I couldn't keep quiet. The roads deleted in this proposal provided 3 ways for 1,786 families to exit from the development to the surrounding communities. They represent a 20% increase in the homes in this county, and probably the same number increase in the traffic. The deleted roads and the water reuse system, as you've heard, should already have been built. These families should be using them today, and they're not. The developer spent the time on a smaller road, a shorter road, instead of building those. And again, we're at the point where they should be available and people using them. There's no contract letter that I've seen relieving him of the obligation. The developer's entire justification for this amendment is that the roads are no longer needed. The county doesn't want them. Yet there's no change in the homes in this DGA. There's no change in the traffic. I've looked at the analyses for Spring Valley Ranch up through the current DGA 3. There's no change in the number of vehicles per day. The houses are the same. Everything that is supposed to be contained in the agreement is supposed to be in the contract. There's nothing else implied or external, yet there is no mention at all of Spring Valley Vista. Maybe there's something I haven't seen, maybe there's something missing, but there's nothing that talks about anything other than the homes for Spring Valley Ranch. If the county has some good documented reason why they want to eliminate that, well, it'd be nice if we could see that. 178 is a road to nowhere. There's no traffic analysis showing CR 178 is safer or better in replacing those 3 avenues I mentioned. If there were, it would be in here. The opposite is actually true. The roads currently on contract up through DGA 2 accommodate 1,786 families, which amount to 18 to 17,000 vehicle trips a day. Those roads were based on the West Elbert County Transportation Master Plan, which was designed to address the growth we are experiencing today. The only development specifically mentioned in that master plan was Spring Valley Ranch. The traffic analysis shows 178 will have more cars just about on day 1 than Elbert has now. This traffic is going to grow, and you're going to end up with 7,800 cars on being dumped into the 2-lane Elbert Road. CR 178 by the regulations for the county probably should be a 4-lane road. The analysis shows that the intersection of 178 and Elbert is a level of service D to F. When I was in school, that was a failing grade. This is 2 levels below what the Department of Transportation recommends for rural roads. It results in unstable flow and a high probability of accidents, and that's based on the highway capacity manual. This would be yellow or red if it were included in the master plan, while CR 182 was green or B in all the analyses I've seen. This is why we feel this is an unsafe road. I'm not a traffic engineer. I'm not a planner, but I've been an engineer for 40 years. I taught engineering for 5 years. I taught engineering for the various PE exams for 8 years. None of my students would try to push 3 pipes of flow into one smaller pipe with a restriction on the end. That pipe won't flush. I ask that you do your jobs and flush this proposal. Thank you.
Name is Scott Marks. Address is 371 Buckskin Court over in Parker. So it's been a few years now that we've been discussing this 178, 182 issue, and there's still some questions that have been completely unanswered by the commissioners about this decision. So initially, when we asked Grant Thayer why 178 as opposed to 182, the only answer we could get from him was, it's not fair to the developer. So I asked him, Why are you so concerned about what's fair to developer? Why aren't you concerned about what's fair to the residents? All we heard was crickets, nothing, complete silence. And he turned and walked away. And then later, we also asked him, why don't we do an objective, public, side-by-side comparison of the advantages and disadvantages of 182 and 178? He refused to do that. He just stared straight ahead and he wouldn't answer our questions. And so he always says he's an engineer, so we're all pretty familiar about that. And he frequently tells us that. And so he's used to performing an objective data analysis, but yet he refuses to do a side-by-side comparison of 182 and 178. The only reasonable conclusion from that is he knows that side-by-side 182 is going to be the logical choice. So if we just talk about the pros and cons of 182 and 178, when we look at 182, it's a natural, logical place to go. It ties directly into the major intersection on Elbert Road and East Parker Road, and it's a main corridor going into Parker. It's much safer due to greater visibility, and it's going to have a smoother traffic flow. If we look at 178, there really are no pros if we go ahead and compare it to 182. What it's going to do is increase congestion because it's going to have an additional intersection on that road. But then the other thing is when we look at it as being a hilltop intersection, it has very poor visibility from the north. So I went out there and took a laser rangefinder and looked at from the crest of that hill where we can see the intersection. It's 91 meters. That's 4 seconds of travel. And if we look at the traffic guides, it consistently says in order for someone that's driving to react, it takes 2.5 seconds in order to recognize the issue and react. And then after that 2.5 seconds, then they have to brake. So this person coming over this intersection they're going to have 1.5 seconds of wiggle room before they end up hitting a car in front of them if they weren't paying attention. Another thing is back in 2 years ago, I sat in a meeting with CDOT and the Board of County Commissioners in the courthouse, and Grant Thayer was talking about County Road, the intersection of County Road 17 and 86, which is a similar hilltop intersection. At least 3 times he spoke to the CDOT representatives and said, this is a dangerous intersection. When are you going to fix this? So I went out there and took the laser rangefinder and looked. The distance from there, from the crest to the intersection, is 174 meters, twice the distance of the one on a proposed intersection at County Road 178. So Grant Thayer considered that as being a dangerous intersection, but the sight distance was twice as long as 91, but yet he wishes to propose to put in 91. So it's a known dangerous intersection. Why would we do this? So the question is, the bottom line is, why does the Board of County Commissioners refuse to do an objective comparison between 182 and 178? Why would they choose an intersection which is known to be dangerous and would increase serious injuries and death and also increase traffic congestions? So I guess my bottom line is, why don't we answer these questions?
Planning Commission member can't hear.
Hey, Danny? Danny?
Your computer's talking to me here.
There you go.
All right, Chris Hatton, 1483 Carlson Road. Thank you. We were hoping to get 10 minutes to speak, and Christina said, prepare for 3 or 10. So you'll see posters around here that are actually presenting all of our arguments here. So after you're done, take a look at them. This is going to be interesting. All right.
There you go.
Is that better? All right.
Thank you, man.
Anyway, if you look around the room, we've got posters kind of outlining our discussion points. I was going to talk about, I'd like to talk about drainage, and one of the concerns that we've got with the proposed County Road 178 was drainage, and we had quite a bit of discussion. And today we actually had a watershed moment. We had an opportunity to meet with the county, with the engineers within the county. And it was very collaborative. It was very productive for most of the meeting. And kudos to everybody for the engineers for participating in that. There's an opportunity here for us to have a voice that's heard. Our voice hasn't been heard for the last 3 years, and that's what we're asking for, is a voice. So basically what we're asking you to do is reject this so we get an opportunity to go through our concerns. The specific concern that I have is, and you'll see here, is as the road adjoins the properties to the south, it creates an embankment, or not really a dam, but it is a dam with a pipe conduit going through the middle of it. And you'll see a section line here. Those embankments typically abut right against that section line, or very close. What happens in what we looked at the hydrology and the drainage is that as those pipes fill and flow for the design flow, they actually build up a water pressure behind them, which is called head, and they'll pond water behind there. What they're doing is they're ponding water onto the adjoining land, okay? Which is not allowed. And if you go through the regulations and you look at the design should include for blockage of the pipes and that sort of thing, which we don't believe that they've included, but we can go through and take a look at. But what they're doing is they're ponding water, and they're raising the surface water of elevation on the adjoining lands. If you look at these posters here, the yellow right there actually shows the areas that are inundated. And some of those areas we actually have a very good survey on personally. And so by ponding water on the adjoining land, that's considered a taking. And it's either considered trespass or reverse or inverse condemnation, which is not allowed. And if you look at, your job obviously is to go through the approval. You have boxes that you check, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. If you look at the drainage plans and the requirements of section 600 of the design standard, and also the zoning regulations, which would be amendment 3C,
You're not in compliance with either one of those. You're impacting the adjoining lands. And so for that reason, specific to this issue, we're saying, go ahead, reject the proposal. This is just a proposal by Mr. Marshall, but go ahead and reject that. Give us an opportunity to work with the engineers and talk through some of these issues. Thank you.
Can I get clarification on who just spoke? This is Justin.
What'd you say, Justin?
Chris Hatton.
I'm just looking for clarification on who just spoke.
Gentleman's name is Chris Hatton.
Okay, now we go.
No other information. I didn't hear an address. I didn't hear anything.
Carlson Road.
That was 1483 Carlson Road.
My name is John Smith. I live at 43766 Buckskin Road. For those of you who do not know me, I'm a licensed professional engineer with a Master's of Science degree in Electrical Engineering, a second Master's of Science degree in Biomechanics. I hold a degree in engineering from the Colorado School of Mines. I spent over 30 years in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I held every engineering classification, including those in civil engineering, facility engineering, topographic engineering, and combat engineering. I've done construction throughout the United States and a lot of the world, including building roads. As just one example, when I was an engineer battalion commander in Baghdad, we had to repair the highway that ran in front of our forward operating base. Now, their highways are built to the same standards as ours, so we had to bring it up to that standard. So that's an example of what we do. In my civilian career, I've analyzed over 3,500 motor vehicle collisions to understand why they occur. This includes everything from evaluating roadway designs throughout the United States. I've been recognized as an expert in the fields of accident reconstruction and biomechanics in at least 29 states, numerous federal courts, and virtually every district court in Colorado. It is my professional opinion that County Road 178 is a clear and present danger to the citizens of Douglas and Elbert County. I came in here prepared to provide detailed examples from Douglas County and other sources as to why the road was unsafe. Then I was going to explain how there have been at least 5 traffic studies, of which you heard, most of which are contradictory, and some are clearly in error. Finally, I was going to show you how the left turn lane proposed was going to get people killed, how the lines of sight were insufficient, and how an acceleration lane would have to be there to make the road have any chance for safety. I believe I was going to prove to you the road was unsafe. Then today something happened. 4 engineers who are citizens of Elbert County, sorry about that, with a combined experience of over 150 years, sat down with Mr. Hale, Mr. O'Hearn, and other engineers. As a group, we agreed that our primary concern was the safety of the citizens of Elbert County. What is best for our county? They acknowledged our concerns and agreed that the safety aspects were not something they had evaluated. They agreed they had not performed a comparative analysis between CR 178, CR 182, or any of the other roads Mr. Marshall was asked to be relieved from. This is not a criticism of them. I am not faulting them for that. It's merely how the process works. Mr. Marshall comes to the county with a wish list. The county evaluates what he has proposed, and that gives it to the Planning Commission for you guys to decide what is best for our county. You don't have to recommend approval. There's no requirement to do that because this is merely a negotiation between Jim Marshall and Jim Marshall. However, that is not the end of the story. Mr. O'Hearn and Mr. Hale suggested a series of meetings between the citizens engineers, the county, and Mr. Marshall's engineers. We have agreed. Since the citizens have other jobs, we discussed the tentative schedule. This will take a little bit of time to go through everything. To not only address the issues I have mentioned, but the other issues you're going to hear today. Jim Marshall was directly asked, would he be willing to postpone tonight's meeting, tonight's hearing, so that we could have the time to actually address all the issues and determine what is best for our county? His answer was no. Therefore, members of the Planning Commission, I'm asking you to recommend rejection of this application, and let us work with the county and the other engineers to determine and reach the best solution for all of us. Now, an obvious question is, why did we wait till today to meet with the county? We did not wait till today. We've been trying to get a meeting with the county for some time. We were told by the county engineer, the county attorney, that was not allowed because of ex parte. Turns out that's not true, but that is why we were told. That's why it took till today. And the county actually reached out to us, which we do appreciate. When we're all done here, Jim Marshall is going to stand up and he's going to tell you other things and try to refute what we've told you today. In his presentation, I counted no less than 25 misstatements. Things either were not true or weren't quite exactly representing the reality of it. Jim Marshall is not an engineer. So what I recommend is that you give us the time. Give us the time to do this right for the county. Do not accept Mr. Marshall's first offer. This is merely his start of negotiation. Let us work together with the county to do what is best. I have all the background data here if anybody needs to see it. Thank you. Ian Johnson. Sorry.
You're good. You're not the first one. Hopefully stay. All right, so my name is Kellen Johnson. I live in Spring Valley Ranch. It is my understanding that the developer is still under obligation from DGA-1 to design and install a dual reuse water irrigation system to each lot in the development. DGA-1 was agreed upon 17 years ago, and there does not appear to be a dual reuse water system installed to each lot. The language in DGA-3 appears to relieve the developer of this obligation by saying it is essentially an alternative means of water conservation secondary to water restrictions implemented by the district which he controls. If the developer has had 17 years to install the water reuse system to each lot there, and he hasn't done it, why would he install it now if it becomes an alternative means of water conservation? If the developer is relieved of this obligation, not only would this let him off his end of the deal when he has already gained the advantage of hundreds of additional houses on top of what was agreed to in DGA-1, but we as Spring Valley Ranch residents will continue to pay the developer the same amount for faucet water as we would for the water for our grass. In addition, without a water reuse system, the water aquifer that is a critical and finite resource to this region will continue to take an irreversible hit, and it's only going to get worse as more and more developments move into this area, which is happening more rapidly every year. DGA-3 should not be approved as it is currently written. The poster for this info is here, or it's in the back to the left of the door. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I'm Wayne Ordakowski, 910 Newman Drive, Parkline Estates up the Singing Hills. DGA 3 is about a developer that wants to be relieved of his contractual obligations to the county, thereby enriching himself between $15 and $30 million. In 2003, DGA 2, the developer agreed to build a water reuse system for 508 homes. 17 years later, with no construction effort made towards that commitment, the developer has now proposed DGA 3, which relieves him of the responsibility and cost to construct a gray water system. DGA 3 impacts the aquifer that everyone in northwestern Elbert County uses. In other words, you're destroying your water supply and increasing the developer's profits. Doesn't make sense. No water reuse system, then no houses. DGA 3 caps the impact fees. Impact fees are much lower than the industry standard, by about half, as documented in a report commissioned by the county by a company called Rastellis. We also know in Independence, it's about $5,000 a home. Why are these half? At $1 million, well, DGA 3, the County Road 178 shortcut does include 7.15 miles of pavement. The developer does not tell you, well, he has, that DGA 3 relieves him of nearly 10 miles of road that he was obligated to construct dating back to early 2000. At $1 million a mile, it shortchanges the citizens of Elbert County, but saves him over $10 million. If the developer does not want to build the roads he's currently obligated to build, then he can give back the houses. Simple. Less pavement equals less homes. The developer was required to build roads years ago and elected not to. There is a requirement for significant road construction after the 400 building permit. He's blown by that by 43 houses and counting. Elbert County Commissioners must hold him in that contractual obligation. The roads that he has constructed in Spring Valley Ranch are a mess. There's a couple pictures from one of the posts here. Look no further than to ask any of the people in Spring Valley Ranch about the condition of their roads that this developer built. The County Road 178 shortcut is not the safest road. The County Road 178 shortcut that DGA 3 proposes has an intersection at Elbert that you, your family, your teenage driver, and a busload of kids will be using every day. It will be undersized, have no acceleration lane, have a 4-foot shoulder dropping into the deep ditch. Something to look forward to for the dead of winter. As you or your teenager kids turn onto the shortcut, traffic will be bearing down on you at an average of about 51.8 miles an hour. Some will not even see you as you turn east. County Road 178 shortcut is not the safest road, and the developer knows it. Is this really what you want for your family, for the citizens of Elbert County? The Elbert County Planning Commission should reject this DGA 3 proposal. Elbert County citizens deserve the original agreement. Thank you.
I'm Kale Forrington, live at 536 Meadow Station Circle. All right, so I've lived in Elbert County 39 years. The direction of the leadership has changed drastically in the last 20 years. It does not work for the people, but for the developers. And just to share a little bit of history, why there's so much frustration here with this developer. In 2008, hundreds of Elbert County citizens formed a coalition to fight a bad decision the county commissioners made regarding Spring Valley Vistas. This allowed developers to reduce our water rules from a 300-year life to 100, all to benefit them. The elected officials voted to give away our precious water resources. The small group of citizens had no choice but to sue Elbert County on behalf of all the citizens' interests, and they won. Unfortunately, no accountability was put on the commissioners. All the financial burden was placed on the citizens. Again, in 2018, the same developer came forward with another proposal, DGA 3. This amendment would eliminate his contractual obligations of 16 miles of roads and a water reuse system, plus give back to the developer approximately $10 million. He chose to create a new roadway called 178 instead of the safer 182. No notice was given to those residents most hurt by this proposal, i.e. Meadow Station and Carlson Ranch. These are the same individuals involved in the first lawsuit. Coincidence? I don't think so. Another lawsuit was filed and won by the citizens. This time, the judge ruled the county overreached their authority. You have professionals coming before you at no cost to the county, telling you straight up that Mr. Marshall's figures are wrong and his maps are deceiving. If you look at one of the exhibits up here in the front, this is the map that he submitted is quite different than the one he distributed at a community meeting on October 22nd, which misleads where the actual road connects with Elbert. By the way, where were the county officials at that meeting? Where are the minutes to that community meeting? According to your own application process, they're required to be included in the packet. They are not, which makes the packet incomplete and therefore void for further discussions. You don't have all the information you need, and CDS, once again, unfortunately, has failed to do their job. The other exhibit is an email from our county attorney, Bart Greer, colluding with Mr. Marshall on the best way to present his proposal to mislead the citizens of the county. Do your due diligence like we have. Please read the history of Spring Valley Ranch, the DGAs, and his contractual obligations. You say Elbert County needs more roads? Then why in the world would you give back 16 miles of roads for only 3 miles? Plus, let him pocket $10 million that could be in ours. Make him do what he's contracted to do for the safety of Elbert County citizens. Thank you.
Hello, Tom Silkia. I'm at 323 Meadow Station Circle. My request to Elbert County Planning Commission is that you reject Spring Valley Ranch Design Guide Agreement 3 proposal. The developer is proposing a reduction in road obligations from 16 miles of roads in the existing SVR DGA 2 to 7 miles of roads in DGA 3. This reduction in road obligations benefits one entity, the developer, and only the developer. The estimated savings to the developer is in excess of $10 million. There is no benefit to Elbert County in reducing the road paving obligations from 16 miles to 7 miles. The current, existing, and legally binding road obligations, as documented in Spring Valley Ranch DGA 2, are based in part on housing density bonuses provided to the developer and the SVR development from an original 678 to the current 1786. So we've traded housing bonuses for additional roads that we want to step away from now. I'd like to share a quote from Jim Marshall during that informational community meeting on October 22nd, and I quote, "If the third amendment to the development guide agreement doesn't get approved, we'd be obligated to pave 1721, 186, 182, and which we are not going to do, end quote. And I repeat, he said, we are not going to do it. It's a statement of fact in his mind. The current Spring Valley Ranch DGA2 road obligations provide for constructions and paving of portions of 1721, 186, 194, 13, and 182. This provides 3 road corridors to and from Spring Valley Ranch. These existing 16 miles of road obligations are legal obligations that the developer is attempting to relieve himself of. The developer in DGA3 is requesting these 16 miles of road obligations be eliminated in exchange for a single Spring Valley corridor via proposed Road 178. The developer has claims that the SVR DGA2 road obligations are based on Spring Valley Ranch as well as the defunct Spring Valley Vistas. There is no formal documentation that I could find or any of my other people working on this supporting this purported dependency between Spring Valley Vista, Spring Valley Ranch, DGA2, and the current road obligations. An additional quote from Jim Marshall during that same October 2020 meeting, quote, "A municipality has an obligation to meet the health, safety, and welfare of all of its residents, not 5. And they need to build roads." And I repeat, he said they need to build roads. There hasn't been a new road built here in Elbert County probably for 20 to 25 years that I can think of, end quote. I find these quotes and the developer's words contradictory. He says he will not meet his current road obligations, 16 miles, yet he preaches the county needs roads, and he proposes a 7-mile road alternative. I request that the Planning Commission reject SVR DGA3, and if the Planning Commission votes to approve, then I request that the Planning Commission provides a public summary, preferably in writing, enlightening and educating the citizens of Elbert County as to how this is more advantageous, DGA3 with 7 miles versus 16 miles in SVR DGA2. It's interesting, but at the opening in Christina's summary, she noted, and the word kept occurring, delete road, delete road, delete road, delete road, delete road. I think it happened 6 times. I didn't count. It's funny, I didn't hear delete the 900 home bonuses. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, I believe it's Jordan Long.
Jordan Long, 45388 Coal Creek Road, 45390 Coal Creek Road, 2272 Pronghorn Circle, Lot 83 Pronghorn Estates, and 45590 Coal Creek Drive. I don't have a big speech prepared like all them over there. We have been going to the meetings, listen to the county, listen to the developers. We believe in the current maps on DGA3, the 178 road appears to be a easier, faster route for the Spring Valley Ranch citizens to go back and forth. Being that there's already a north-south corridor, seems logical. Saves the county money and maintenance in the long term. Just between, how many roads does the county have? 1,500 miles, roughly, and 1,100 miles of dirt road. Each grader operator is on the hook for roughly 80 hours of work a week, plus or minus